Chinese philosopher Sun Tzu, who wrote The Art of War. If you haven't read it, I advise you to read it. It's very good. So Sun Tzu walks into a Kherson bar. This has to do with Russia's very surprising, shocking retreat from areas that it won and allowing Ukraine to push the Russians into Crimea. Why is that? This is written by Pepe Escobar and it's on Zero Hedge. The announcement of the Kherson retreat may have signaled one of the gloomiest days of the Russian Federation since 1991. Leaving the right bank of the Dnieper River to set up a defense line on the left bank may spell out total military sense. General Armageddon himself, since his first day on the job, had hinted this might have been inevitable. As it stands in the chessboard, Kherson is the wrong side of the Dnieper. All residents of Kherson Oblast, 115,000 people in total, who wanted to be relocated to safer latitudes, have been evacuated from the right bank. General Armageddon knew that this was inevitable for various reasons. Several reasons. One, no mobilization after initial SMO plans hit the dust. Two, destruction of strategic bridges across the Dnieper, complete with a 3-month methodical Ukrainian pounding of bridges, ferries, pontoons, and piers. 3. No second bridgehead to the north of Kherson or to the west towards Odessa or Nikolaev to conduct an offensive. And then the most important reason, 4. Massive weaponization coupled with NATO de facto running the war translated into enormous Western superiority in reconnaissance, communications, and command and control. In the end, the Kherson retreat may be a relatively minor tactical loss, yet politically it's an unmitigated disaster, a devastating embarrassment. Kherson is a Russian city. Russians have lost, even if temporarily, the capital of a brand new territory attached to the Federation. Russian public opinion will have tremendous problems absorbing this news. The list of negatives is considerable. Kiev forces secure their flank and may free up forces to go against Donbass. Weaponizing by the collective West gets a major boost. HIMARS can now potentially strike targets in Crimea. The optics are horrendous. Russia's image across the global south is severely tarnished. After all, this move amounts to abandoning Russian territory, while serial Ukrainian war crimes instantly disappear from the major narrative. At a minimum, the Russians a long time ago should have reinforced their major strategic advantage, bridgehead on the west side of the Dnieper, so that it could hold, short of a widely forecasted Kakova Dam flood, and yet the Russians also ignored the dam bombing threat for months. That spells out terrible planning. Now Russian forces will have to conquer Kherson all over again, and in parallel stabilize the front lines, draw definitive borders, and then strive to demilitarize Ukrainian offensives for good, either via negotiation or carpet bombing. It's quite revealing that an array of NATO Intel types, from analysts to retired generals, are suspicious of General Armageddon's move. They see it as an elaborate trap, or as a French military analyst put it, a massive deception operation. Classic Sun Tzu. That has been duly incorporated as the official Ukrainian narrative. So, quote, Twin Peaks, that American pop culture subversive classic, quote, the owls are not what they seem, end quote. If that's the case, General Armageddon would be looking to severely outstretch Ukrainian supply lines, seduce them into exposure, and then engage in a massive turkey shoot. So it's either Sun Tzu or a deal is in the wings, coinciding with the G20 next week in Bali. The art of the deal. Well, some of the deal seems to have been stuck between Jake Sullivan and Patrushev. That is the U.S. Foreign Secretary and the Russian. No one really knows the details, even those with access to flamboyant fifth column informants in Kiev. But yes, the deal seems to include Kherson. Russia would keep Donbass, but not advance towards Kharkov and Odessa, and NATO expansion would be definitely frozen. A minimalist deal. That would explain why Patrushev was able to board a plane to Tehran, Iran, simultaneous to the announcement of the Kherson retreat, and take care, quite relaxed, of very important strategic partnership business with Ali Shamkhani, Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. The deal may have also been the inbuilt secret in Maria Zakharova's announcement that, quote, we're ready for negotiations, end quote. The Russians will leave the Dnieper riverbank in a managed military retreat. That would not be possible without managed military-to-military negotiations. These back-channel negotiations have been going on for weeks. The messenger is Saudi Arabia. The U.S. aim in the short term would be towards a short Minsk III accord with Istanbul Riyadh attached. No one is paying the slightest attention to Coke clown Zelensky. Sullivan went to Kiev to present a fait accompli of sorts. The Dnieper will be, in thesis, the settled and negotiated front line. Kiev would have to swallow a frozen line of contact in Zaporizhia, Donetsk, and Lugansk, with Kiev receiving electricity from Zaporizhia, hence cease shelling its infrastructure. The U.S. would come up with a loan of $50 billion plus, part of the confiscated, hence stolen, Russian assets to rebuild Ukraine. Kiev would receive modern air defense systems. There's no doubt Moscow will not go along with any of these provisions. Note that all this coincides with the outcome of the U.S. elections, where the Democrats did not exactly lose. Meanwhile, Russia is accumulating more and more gains in the Battle of Bakhmut. There are no illusions whatsoever in Moscow that this crypto Minsk III would be respected by the non-agreement capable empire. Jake Sullivan is a 45-year-old lawyer with zero strategic background and experience amounting to campaigning for Hillary Clinton. Patrushev can eat him for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and late-night snack, and vaguely agree to anything. So are the Americans desperate to offer a deal? Because they may be sensing that next Russian move with the arrival of General Winter, that is, we know the Russian winter is her best ally, Russia's best ally, the arrival of General Winter should be capable of conclusively winning the war on Moscow's terms. That would include slamming the Polish border shut via a long arrow move from Belarus downwards. With weaponizing supply lines cut, Kiev's fate is sealed. Deal or no deal, General Winter is coming to town, ready to entertain his guest of honor, Sun Tzu, with so many new dishes at their dinner table. So this is by Pepe Escobar on Zero Hedge. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.